day traders, good morning. Good morning. Sorry, it took me a second to get back to the computer. I was getting the kids situated. Good morning, G-Man. Good morning, Sasmit. Sasmit's grabbing his black coffee. Travis, what's up? Good morning. G-Man and Sasmit planning on skipping the open. There you go. We have news later too, so that might not be a bad idea. We're already getting quite a bit of volatility. The market hasn't even opened yet. Volume's already stepping up for the last 10 minutes, 6 minutes or so. All right, we got the market open in 2 minutes. So we had some earnings this morning. Nothing that's like a really huge impact on NQ. All of them were, most of them I think were down. But market sentiment is just bullish with rates possibly coming down in the next month or two. Tariff deals coming to a finalization. Even if earnings are down, I don't think it's gonna affect the market much today. Yeah, the big ones coming up are, I think, Wednesday and Thursday, but they're all in the afternoon. They're all like after market close. And today we have news about 30 minutes after the market open. So we'll see if that affects the open and makes it slow. Let's see what we get. Market's open. Opening up big time. Let's see where this thing ends up. Man. Definitely a kind of day where I'm just looking for a pullback to find an entry to go long. Gonna be patient today. Ooh-wee. Look at that opening candle. Holy cow. That was a fun one. Let's let the first couple minutes settle, and maybe we can find ourselves an entry. Let's see what this 5-minute candle is looking like. So far, it's up only. Got a little bit of a pullback when we were watching the 1 minute, but this is strong. I know there were quite a few orders on Bookmap at around 6:25 and 6:30. But this doesn't look like it's heading towards anything and wanting to pull back. This is just going up. Yeah, the earnings from this morning being down definitely did not affect the market open at all. Just the sentiment overall with all the other economic stuff going on is definitely carrying the weight. Well, this is just a sit and be patient moment for me. So far, we have 10 seconds left on this 5-minute candle. So if we get some sort of pullback, maybe halfway back on this candle, we could potentially look for a long entry and put our stop down at the bottom of the 15-minute opening range. But definitely would want to pull back. At this point, just wondering if we're gonna hit like a round psychological number and then get a pullback. Maybe 650, maybe 700, who knows? We do have a decent amount of consolidation here, around 600 from the overnight session. So, I mean, this is just going to the moon, but if we get a pullback to that area, that's close to the 15-minute opening range low also. That could be a spot for an entry long. But I don't know if it's going to give it to us right now. Well, this is fun to watch. This is just wild, you guys. Markets across the board are pumping. Crypto's up too, if anyone watches that. Crypto's not up a ton today necessarily, just in general over the last couple weeks. All right, so we hit that 648 level. Pretty close to that round psychological number of 650. Sounds good. Not seeing a pullback yet though. Continuing to the moon. Well, dang. What do you think, you guys? Is it going to give us a pullback? Did anyone just enter long just for the fun of it? Got a little FOMO and just entered a couple contracts long just to ride this thing? It's one of those days where you could just enter long and be green no matter what. Perhaps not a bad idea. Or a really bad idea, because you could enter at the top. You never know. Oh, Travis did. Sasmit resisted. Nice job. No, it's not a horrible idea. I mean, as long as you go small, because there's lots of volatility. This is a big opening range so far. But yeah, you could enter a couple contracts and just grab a couple dollars out of it. I wouldn't do it anymore since it's kind of slowing down, but you could have at the open. You would trade the opposite of whatever my ideas were with an opening like that. Well, if your idea was taking shorts, then yeah, definitely the opposite today. There you go, Travis. You can make a lot of money with micros. All those little wins add up. I mean, you could easily catch a good trade and make a couple $100 with one micro. And if you do that every day, maybe throw a couple losses in there, you could easily make $500 a week. And it's a good way to learn. Good way to keep that same account forever, or for a really long time at least, and not blow it. All right, so we kind of got a little pullback at that 650 level. I don't have any reason for that being a big level other than the fact that it's a round number. Seems like a good stopping point. but definitely not a pullback that I'm interested in longing right now, because there's no good spot for a stop loss. All right, let's see if this is going to give us a little pullback. First red candle so far. Coming down to anchored VWAP. This doesn't look very bouncy yet. This might come back down to opening range low if it breaks VWAP. Ooh, it's coming back down. All right, so that 600 level I was telling you that kind of created a little shelf point of control last night, right at 600. That's also the 15-minute opening range low. If it comes back down to opening range low, which has that confluence for the point of control from last night's session, interesting spot for a possible long. Let's see. Good morning, JC Trades. No diggity. Good afternoon to you. Sasman, I'm just reading your comment. It might seem like that's the case now, where FOMO makes the money, and then if you follow your rules, you lose. But over the long run, stick with your rules, and don't worry about FOMO. There's always another opportunity. Yeah, sure, there's people making money right now on this pump, but those are the people that are also just as likely to be oversizing, and they're going to lose the money too, because they don't have a system. They're just getting lucky by entering long on a pump. Not everyone, that's a generalization obviously, but the ones who are winning on FOMO are not consistently taking payouts. So don't compare yourself to other people. All right, you guys, if this comes back down to that 15-minute opening range low, I'm considering a long. I say considering because I want to see how it reacts at that level. But there's some decent confluence for that. It's also right at VWAP. So let's see if we get down there. What happens if we both lose our accounts? Well, then if you lose your accounts, you probably didn't follow your rules, right? Y'all can split the losses. All right, let's see. Let's see if it comes back down to that 600 level, or 592 really. That's the opening range low, right at VWAP, and then also that high volume area from last night. So interesting level. See if we get a bounce. Yeah, that's why I'm definitely saying, like, let's see if we get a bounce, because this is looking pretty heavy, guys. Lots of confluence for that level, though. And I don't love the idea of shorting another all-time high day. So I'm leaning towards longs. I just want to make sure that buyers are going to take back control here. There you go. Listen to B. Frosty's advice. Just go all in. Trade like a degen with prop firms and just go all in. And that is why I don't set limit orders. Because my idea of longing the 15-minute opening range low is not looking good right now. All right, let's see if we get a little fake out. There was some liquidity down here. If we hold above VWAP, I'm going to consider a long. See if we get that bounce. It is not bouncing, you guys. That was an interesting open. Holy cow. This is taking everyone's money right now. Woo-wee. Let's see if we come back down to yesterday's point of control. That is 488. 23,488. Let's see if we get a little retest of that 15-minute opening range low, VWAP area, previous day high, maybe a little retest at 586 and go short from there. This is moving a lot, you guys. I don't want to be chasing it. One thing I like to do when watching for VWAP breaks is wait for a 15-minute candle confirmation. So if we close this 15-minute candle below VWAP, then we can switch to possibly looking for shorts. But this whole thing could be a fake out and we could close above. Yeah, that could have just been a massive 15-minute opening range fake out to the downside, gap fill, also high volume node. Like, look at that low volume shelf right there. It just, or low volume node, I guess. It just wicked through that, bounced off of that 550 level and came back up. Let's see if we close back above VWAP and back within the 15-minute opening range. %43 chance to double break the 15-minute orb. I could definitely see that happening today. If you zoom out to, I think it's on the 1 hour time frame, there's that gap that Travis was talking about in the chat. Right down to 554. Look at that perfectly. And now it's showing like it wants to close back above VWAP and maybe reclaim this 15-minute opening range low. Interesting spot here, because this could be a opening range breakout, retest, and continuation lower, and we are still below VWAP technically. I'm not sold on either direction right now. Leaning towards long, but I would like to see it get back above VWAP and back within the range. Because right now it's rejecting. Yeah, and we do have news in 5 minutes. Let's be patient and see what the next 4 minutes brings us. For fun, let's predict what Jolts does. Sasmit thinks it'll wick up and then go back down. Oh man, I'll take bets on the fact that it just shoots up back to the 15-minute opening range high. Whoa, that was an interesting wick, and news hasn't even come out yet. What in the world? Market's acting crazy today. Beef Frosty's all in. Let's go. You got your $29 eval. Not too much skin in the game. Why not? Just go all in. Oh, Min's placing bets on shorts. I think we're going long. I think we're going back up to the range high. Everybody got their bets all in? You have 2 minutes to place your bets. It's sitting right at that like decision spot. Right at VWAP and opening range low. It's almost like it knows that that's the spot where traders are waiting. Gold is taking a nap. Well, NQ's taking all the action. Nobody has money to place anywhere else because all the volume's right here. No Diggity is betting his car and his garden shed that we're going back up to the highs. That's an interesting bet. I'll take your car, depending on what kind of car it is. I don't know about a garden shed. That's interesting. Was that it? That was very anticlimactic. Chitramus is considering your bet, but he wants to know what the contents of the shed are. Do I get the lawnmower too? All right. It's still kind of stuck in that decision point. Interesting. What's going on? Let's see what we got for this session volume profile going on. We're sitting below the value area low right now. No Diggity's gonna have to start riding the bus now. He just bet his car and lost. Alright, I'm taking a short here. Rejecting VWAP, rejecting that 15-minute opening range low. It had a chance to reclaim it, and it's looking weak. So I'm going to see if it comes down to yesterday's point of control at 488. My entry was 568.75. Alright, come on. All that volatility went away. we go. Now we're starting to get some movement down. Well, starting to get some strength back. Now it's starting to chop around a little bit. That was a rough bet, no diggity. Now you don't have a place to sleep, you don't have a car. The point of control moved down to where we're at right now. It might chop around here for a little bit. Still holding below VWAP. But that selling pressure slowed down for sure. Showing some strength. It'll be interesting if it can get back above VWAP. then we might be going back to what I was saying before, where if it reclaims this opening range low, going back to range high. All right, coming back up to VWAP, overnight VWAP. It could also possibly come back up to opening range low or the anchored VWAP before it rejects, if it's going to. Be frosty, I'm not manifesting anything so far. Yeah, G-Man, definitely I could have waited for a retest of that opening range low and shorted from there. The thing that makes me nervous about this short is this volume node from the overnight session and all of this trading. It's kind of holding that. So could be finding support there for a move higher back to that opening range high. Lots of wicks underneath here. We're sitting in a messy trade. Yeah. Not wanting to go lower right now. Still chopping around that point of control and below VWAP. So my idea has not been invalidated. It's just not going. Gotta call my market maker uncle. Tell him, hey, we're all going short. Me and my friends are going short. Can you help us out here? All right. I have point of control as my target because a lot of times that's a magnet. But we'll see. We can take it off early if it starts to show support at this 506 level. If it gets down there. Your market maker uncle only has so much pull, huh? He helped us out a little bit. We're at least in the green now. It's retested this 550-ish level a couple times now. Could be getting weaker. If it comes down here, it could break the next time. I do have yesterday's point of control at 448. Yeah, be frosty if I hit my target there. That would probably be it for this account for sure. You guys are cracking me up. Sasmit has a rich uncle. No Diggity's like, yeah, my uncle works there too, but he's just a janitor. Oh. Never a dull moment with you guys. I love it. All right, we're getting a little movement down. Come on, let's go. Retesting that 550 level again. Is it gonna break this time? Is she gonna break? Sasmit's taking requests, you guys. He's calling his rich uncle. We want NQ to go down. What do you guys want for gold? He's putting in a call. All right, you guys, we got 38 of you watching. We have 13 likes. If you haven't already, go hit that like button. I'd appreciate it. Oh, it keeps playing with that 550 level. Come on. You know you wanna. It's messing with me. So many wicks on the downside. It does have this chop from overnight to fight through though. It's not like this low volume area where it just melted through it. What the heck, Sasmit? Your rich uncle is just monopoly money rich? That's not helpful. Still deciding which way he wants to go. Yeah, I feel you, G-Man. Whoosh, woosah, patience. I still feel like this is the right trade. Like it's following all of my confluences. It came back below previous day high, below opening range low. It came up, retested, VWAP, rejected. Like all those things are screaming short. It's just making me nervous because there isn't that continuation and there's all these wicks underneath on the 5-minute candles. And then the fact that we have this chop to fight through. So it could certainly just grab some of this liquidity and bounce back higher just because there's not continuation lower. But that's probably all just me being nervous about sitting in a trade forever. It's a lot easier to take a trade when it just moves in your direction immediately and it's done in 5 minutes. I didn't mark the Asia and London lows. So Asia's over here at 514. That definitely could be a spot where it bounces. I have my target all the way down at point of control, so that could be a little bit too greedy. I'll see how it reacts here at 514. All right, coming down. I'm gonna at least trail my stop a little bit at this point. $5.14 is where that Asia low is. It's getting a little bit of a bounce at the value area low from the overnight session, which makes sense because that's where a lot of that chop was. Yeah, be frosty. If you go all in and lose everything you have, then you guys are going to be bunking in someone's basement together on their couch. We still have this high volume area to get through. I don't know. It's not looking like it's going to. Or at least it's having to fight to get through it. All right, looks like it might come up and stop me out. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and close it. This high volume area from last night, it bounced pretty good from there. It could be going lower. I just would want to find a better entry. Maybe wait for a pullback or wait for the initial balance to be set. Just get a little bit more information. All right, so for now, this, or I guess, yeah, the initial balance is set. So this is the initial balance low. Is that the default volume profile indicator in TradingView? No, I actually have this as I'm using the fixed volume profile over here on the projections tools. And I have been setting the range, like this one is from last night's Open, Asia Globex Open, and I trailed it over to 7 a.m. Central. And then I have this one started at the New York Open at 9:30 Eastern, 8:30 Central. I did Sasmet, I got out. I didn't love that bounce, the pullback. There's just so many wicks underneath, and we have all that volume from last night that it's not getting through. I still feel like there's a chance that it'll go down, but I think I'd rather get a better entry. Maybe if it comes back up to like 590, which I could miss the trade. I could have just gotten chopped out, but that's okay. My goal is to manage risk. Another reason I think I got out is I kind of felt like I chased this entry a little bit because I entered on this big 5-minute candle. I could have waited for the retest of VWAP and gotten a much better entry. So I think that was part of the reason too, is I didn't want to sit through that 29-point pullback to where my stop loss was. So I'll just wait for either a pullback and short from there, or, I mean, we could get a failed auction. This could dump down real quick and grab that Asia low liquidity and bounce back up. We have that crazy volatility at the open, like shot up to all-time highs and then dumped all the way back down below the opening range low. And then it's just been sideways since then. I wonder if the rest of the day is just going to be choppy since we have all the rate decisions and just lots of stuff coming up the rest of this week. All right, so we're getting a little bit of movement back up. Let's see how we react at this anchored VWAP and opening range low area, 590-ish. If we get a rejection from there, that could be a better spot for a short entry. Failed auctions usually happen by 11 Eastern. Is that what you mean? Yeah. A lot of times the good ones happen shortly after the IB has been set. In my experience, at least, the good ones, like the bounces that happen or reactions off of those levels, are better earlier in the day. The later in the day you get, the bounces aren't quite as powerful. Bye, Be Frosty. Still working its way back up. Yeah, Evan, I did take one trade. I took a short off of this rejection of the 15-minute opening range low and VWAP area, but I actually got out right at break even. I think I made like, yeah, $18 on it because I didn't love the bounce and all the wicks on the bottom side. It looked like there was no continuation lower, and I didn't want to be in it. Was waiting for a better entry. ES is looking heavy, you say, huh? Yeah? ES and NQ are not the same today. Interesting open so far, you guys. Just the way it was so bullish when we opened, and then we dumped. We retraced that whole move. But we are finding support. So this support, this foundation that we're establishing right here, it's like, are we consolidating to just rocket back up to the opening range high? Or is this a slow grind and we're going to reject and go lower? So I'm going to see what happens at this level right here at 590-ish. If we reclaim VWAP, could be moving higher. I'm not going to be quick to take a long though, just because we do have this overnight high volume area at 595-ish. That could be resistance. So kind of just being careful in this indecision zone. Gotta zoom out and look at the whole picture. While we're kind of waiting for this level right here to be retested. I'm going to put our Discord in the chat, you guys. I know a lot of you have already joined it. We're growing our little community. But that's just so we can stay connected outside of these streams. Share trades that we're taking. You can share your P&L, share your struggles. I would love for people to eventually start like sharing their trades, their markups, and getting feedback on it. Just want to create a community where we can all learn and grow together and help each other. Work toward consistent payouts. That's the goal. All right, you guys, so it did come up to VWAP. Looking a little bit weak, rejecting it. I want to wait for a little bigger pullback though, because if I was to short here, again, I would put my stop loss way up here. That's why I didn't like the trade last time. That was a big stop. Well, we might have missed it. That was a decent sell-off right there. Pretty good rejection. Let's see how this 5-minute candle closes. Chesme, guys, what would be nice? Sharing charts and getting feedback. Oh, and working towards payouts. Is that what you're talking about? Or it would be nice to get a pullback to 590. Which one were you talking about? I'll move this over because that's a previous trade that I already got out of. Not in it anymore, although probably should have. Was waiting for it to pull back a little bit higher. Heck yeah, payouts, let's go. I'm excited about growing our little trading family community, just to see what comes of it. I'm not planning on selling any courses or anything like that. I don't feel like I'm a strong enough, consistent trader to be like credible enough to be selling you guys something. So it's just a free community. That's something I'm good at though. I built a gym community and it was like a family. So being able to recreate that in the trading space would be fun. 8 figures, all of us. Let's go. Eight figures would be nice. But honestly, just for me, like 5 figures a month consistently, working like 2 hours a day, that for me is the dream. Because then I'll have time freedom and the financial freedom. That's really my goal. I want to have the schedule of a stay-at-home mom. Like I want to be the mom that coaches all my kids' sporting events and like volunteers at every soccer team and field trip and all that. But have the money of someone who has like a really good, high-paying job, but not have to work 60 hours a week. Still pretty choppy on these candles, you guys. Lots of wicks on both sides. Did my gym have AC? No. The lobby area did. We had a like front desk lobby with a kids room, like kids childcare area. That was air conditioned, but the workout space was not. Man, lots of wicks on both sides, you guys. This right here was a strong buy up. Lots of wicks on the downside, underneath of these candles. Now we're getting wicks on the top. Holding below VWAP. Let's see what happens at this initial balance low if we come back down here to retest it. That would be against the CrossFit rules. Yeah. There's definitely some CrossFit gyms that are starting to turn into more of like a fancy air conditioned retail space. But a lot of those go out of business, honestly. It's hard. I mean, leasing a space right now is really expensive with real estate going up and taxes going up and all that. I know because I own a building and it's really expensive to pay for it. So I can't imagine trying to make a profit as a gym with like a small fitness studio paying that much money for a retail space. You don't know why my chart doesn't look like yours? It's on the same time frame? I don't know. This is the MNQ chart. I have it on the 5-minute. Do you have yours on NQ or MNQ? Sometimes NQ is slightly different. Man, shorts definitely look like the play. I'm kind of kicking myself in the foot for exiting this one because I wouldn't have had that much drawdown. Just a little bit. Probably should have stayed in it. I got scared, to be honest. But it looks like it wants to go lower. This is looking weak. I don't want to chase it now, though. We're sitting at 545. I would definitely want to put my stop loss up here above VWAP. So that'd be like a 40-point stop loss. There's no way I'm going to chase it now. Should have stayed in it. Does anyone else's chart look different than mine? Is it me? All right, coming back to IB low. Let's see if we get a failed auction, we bounce and go back up, or if we're just gonna keep dumping. So far, doesn't look like it's feeling very bouncy. This wants lower. All right, so what we can look for at this point, because I mean, this looks heavy. We can look for a liquidity grab. If it grabs this Asia low, value area high-ish area, somewhere around 510, and bounces hard, like obvious buy up, and eventually closes back with an IB low, this could be a failed auction. But again, it's looking heavy, so it could be a breakout continuation. So we can look for the close outside, retest, and then short. But I'm going to be patient right now. Just knowing my emotions right now, the fact that I'm frustrated that I got out of this trade at break even. So I don't want to fall into the trap of chasing this stinking trade because I'm mad at myself. It's going to go straight down to my target at 488, isn't it? Dang it. Oh, you guys. I don't know, Shazmiguez, a failed auction would need to close back within the range. I mean, it could. It is coming down to this Asia low and getting a little bit of a bounce. That's possible. But that's not the kind of liquidity grab and bounce that I would want for a failed auction. And it really hasn't like fully grabbed it. To me, a liquidity grab is when it like comes below, stops all those people out, and then obviously buys back up. Because sometimes if there's a little teeny bounce like this, it might be a fake out. This is annoying. So annoying. This is one good thing about trading in front of people. Like, to be totally transparent with you guys, if I was by myself, knowing how frustrated I am that I got out at break even, I probably would have chased this trade and re-entered at some point. And that would have been bad. All right, coming back up to possibly retest IB low. Or not. It's just going to keep going down. Apparently, I just logged onto the stream today to watch everything. Missed the pump at the open because I was being patient. Now I'm having to sit and watch this dump without me in it. That's going to be the theme for the day, huh? That's all right. I'd rather be flat than red. Anybody say amen to that? Flat is better than red, right? playing around with this Asia low. Like I was saying before, I'd like to see it really like fully grab those stop orders and shoot up from there if it's going to be the liquidity grab that I would expect. Or looking for a retest of IB low and continuation down. Those are the two trade ideas I'd be waiting for right now. Coming back up. Value area low for this current session is sitting right at initial balance low. Interesting confluence there. What are you guys thinking? What trades are you taking in the chat? Let's see if we get it come back up to IB low. And I'll see how it reacts at this level. It's not rejecting yet. Could come back to kind of retest this chop area before rejecting. TT putting the executions and analysis on one screen. So I'm not in a trade right now, but I do move over to my prop firm account. The reason I don't do the analysis on this one is it doesn't have all the tools that I like. Like the VWAP on this Project X is not as good, so I use TradingView. And I just keep everything on this one. And then I'll switch over to the prop firm if I'm actually going to take a trade. This is just me kind of drawing up an idea. Want to see how it reacts at this initial balance low level. But it could come back up to today's point of control also, where there was lots of chop in that area. That could be a magnet for price. And that would definitely give me a better risk reward because I could put my stop loss above VWAP. rejecting. I'm going to take a short from here off of that rejection of initial balance low and target that point of control from yesterday, which is at 488. So what was my actual entry? 522.75. We do have that Asia low liquidity that we're getting to right now. So hopefully we break through that and don't bounce. Value area high. We have a couple levels that we got to get through. Point of control is my target. That's yesterday's point of control. So it broke through Asia low. So far it's not bouncing. So that's a good sign for continuation down. This is a little bit of a tough market this morning. In terms of like being able to have the confidence that my direction is right. Just because there's a lot of choppiness and wicks, and then randomly it'll dump, and then it chops and wicks again, and makes me second guess myself. So we're sitting right at yesterday's value area high at 507. Today's value area low is starting to come down. We're still holding below that. So buyers so far are not defending these levels. Let's see if we make it down to point of control. Choppy, choppy. Is it gonna keep going? Still holding that value area high level from yesterday at 507. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Teacher miss. Getting a little bounce here. What are you guys trading right now? Are you guys long or short? What are you doing? Or are you flat? That was a pretty strong bounce off that 508 level, yesterday's value area high. I have my stop loss above that wick, which is above initial balance low. So if it gets back above there, it could be returning to VWAP, and that'll stop me out. Your your hands are numb from sitting on them all day. Well, good for you. Like I said earlier, it's a whole lot better to be flat than red, which might be where I'm at here in a couple minutes. No Diggity went back to trading crypto, trying to earn his car and his shed back. What do you trade in crypto? Do you stick with Bitcoin and Ethereum, or do you trade the altcoins, some of the small stuff? We're holding that Asia low level. We did get a little bit of a buy up off of it. So that could be that kind of fake bounce I was talking about, where it grabs the liquidity, moves up a little bit, but now it's coming back below it again. All right. Starting to make its way down to my target. Let's see if we break below this value area high this time. It broke below it. Looks like it's gonna hit it. Move my stop loss down, because if it bounces at this point, I'm wrong. Come on. Are you not gonna go all the way down there? That's a good thing to hear Mark Douglas in your brain, in your head, on repeat. You're listening to some good stuff then, Sasnet. So you're giving him your car, your shed, and what? Haribo Tang Fantastics? What is that? That sounds like a candy. Is that like a sour candy? That's what it sounds like to me. Top Cat, you're talking about Monday's open. What gap are you talking about? sour candy. I was right. I have no idea. I've never tried that candy. I've never heard of it. But Tang Fantastics. It just sounds like something that you would eat and is sour. Oh. All right, coming on down. Almost to my target. There is a little bit of a fair gap value gap that it's kind of filling and bouncing off of right now. What about on the 4-hour? Nope. No gaps on the 4-hour. Top Cat, I don't know what gap you're talking about. Unless you're talking about this gap. But that one was technically filled. Come on down. When I'm on the 4-hour chart, it looks like it's so close. But it's still like 10 points away. Oh, okay. I was wondering, I was like zooming out, I was like, I don't see any big gaps. What am I missing? I was looking for a fair value gap or like an RTH gap. Well, this looks like it might bounce before coming all the way down to point of control. I don't know if it's going to go down there. Might hit my trailing stop loss. There we go. That's a better movement. G-Man, might be a no trade day for me. You had to leave right when I entered this trade. Like, it was rejecting off of initial balance low right as I entered short, and you typed in the chat, be right back. So I can imagine it's hard when you're like at work and having to multitask, because that retest happened pretty quickly, and it really didn't even, it did. It went all the way up, it retested, and this was the candle that I entered short on. I'm on the 2-minute chart, and that 2-minute candle closure is where I entered short. That second 2-minute candle really confirmed it. All right, I think I hit my target. Cool. And done. I wonder if it's gonna get a bounce here or if it's just gonna keep getting heavy. Looks like we're getting a bounce. All right. If you haven't liked the stream yet, that definitely deserves a like, right? Sat through the chop in that trade. Hit my TP. Let's go. I wonder how far this is going to go. So I have this initial balance indicator that shows kind of extension points for IB breakouts. Sitting right there, right around 482. So that's, I think it's supposed to be one standard deviation of what the range of the initial balance is. So that's, I think, a half. And then that one's a full, something like that. But it kind of just shows possible targets for an IB breakout, trend continuation. Which is interesting that that's right at yesterday's point of control. So this could possibly be a spot where it bounces. I love when that happens, Asmit. Like, you can be sitting in a room full of traders and people enter the same trade, but for different reasons. I went to a trading conference, boot camp, whatever you want to call it, and there were people trading all kinds of different strategies, like RSI diversions, 15-minute orb, 60-minute initial balance. There was Isaac Rivera was doing mean reversion, levels, like every strategy you can think of, VWAP bounces. And there were several people that were in the exact same trade, like you said, for different reasons. It's pretty cool to see. And then even cooler too is there were some people that were short and some people that were long, and both people won. Because you can have some people that are like scalping like super short, and their target is within the range of someone else's stop loss who's trading in the opposite direction. So it's really interesting that how everyone can make money with trading for different reasons. And more proof too that you just gotta stick to your strategy. If you have a system that works, don't be swayed by someone else. Stick to what works for you. No Diggity's uncle, who's a janitor at the market maker office, he pulled the plug. Min, I'll tell you why I cut it short. Don't hate me. And I'm so mad about it because, like, I would have only been in a little bit of drawdown if I stayed in it. And the trade was not invalidated. It was just stupid. I got scared, to be honest. But the reason was, if you zoom out a little bit, this overnight chop right here, and I was looking at this overnight session volume profile, it just looked like it was kind of providing some support with all of this chop and lots of wicks on the bottom side of those 5-minute candles. So what candle was it? I don't know. This one right here, I guess, when it got bought back up and moved back to my trade entry, I got out at break even, or $18 in profit. And then if I just waited 10 minutes later, It dumped. Holy cow, you guys. Coming down to value area low and continuing. Let's see if it comes down to previous day low and bounces or if it continues. I'm definitely not one to try to long the bottom, but dang. In this account that I was trading live with you guys, 357. And then I have another account that I traded last night and I made $600 on that one, I think. No, I know, Min. You're helpful. But just kind of looking back on it, I was just scared. The chop made me question my entry and my strategy. But I was dumb because looking back, there was nothing really that invalidated it. Other than a couple of wicks on the bottom of those 5-minute candles. But it was still below VWAP, still below that 15-minute opening range low. All the stuff that made me enter the trade, all of those things were still valid. Bouncing off that value area low. Let's zoom out a little bit. So there's definitely some support here. Looks like that's where it's bouncing. This is quite a dump, you guys. Is everyone wanting to get out of the market before all the stuff later this week? The rate decision and PMI or whatever else is coming. There's lots of stuff Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Earnings. A solid buy up off this level so far. Grabbing this liquidity here. Let's see how high it bounces back up. Lots of movement today. Definitely kind of a nice relief from Monday's chop fest. How crazy would that be if this bounces all the way back up to initial balance low? What would that be? 76-point buy up? Woo! Bye, no diggity. Have a good one. Hanging out at yesterday's point of control. This is a strong buy-up candle. I'm on the 15-minute chart. There's still 10 minutes left on it, but dang, if this goes all the way back up to initial balance low, there's lots of people who are getting fried in their accounts today. Could possibly catch another little scalp short if it comes back up to this level. 526 to 539-ish. It's rejecting yesterday's point of control for now. Yeah, Sam, the opening range strategy, I use the 15-minute opening range. You can use different time frames. Some people use the 5-minute, some people use the 30-minute. I typically mark off the 15-minute opening range. And that was kind of the premise behind the trade that I took too. This was, I have it marked now as the 60-minute initial balance low. So same concept, you just mark whatever range, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 60 minutes. And then if it breaks outside of the range, you can take a retest and trade for a trend continuation. Or you could also do like a failed breakout. Sometimes it'll break outside of the range, but then come back within the range for a 60-minute initial balance. That's typically called a failed auction. So I like watching for those. Well, it's rejecting yesterday's point of control. Came up to it, coming back down. All right, Sasmet, have fun in your football soccer match tomorrow. If you keep trading today, trade safe. So I was kind of looking for a little bit of a further retracement to enter short off of. But it doesn't look like it's coming much higher. It might stop here at this point of control from yesterday. looks like we're getting some continuation down. So if I put an anchored VWAP on this low of day, we're starting to break below that. We had a pretty strong buy up on this 1 minute candle, but rejection off point of control. That's a big level from yesterday. There you go, Beverly, good job. Are you done trading today? Shesma guys, for a failed auction, when you take the failed auction, do you wait for a candle to close back within the range? Yeah, well, it depends on the scenario. My best setup is a liquidity sweep that it bounces and closes back within the range. So sometimes I can anticipate the failed auction and take a position off of the liquidity sweep. So I removed the line, but I think I'll just draw it just to like give you the idea. Asia low is somewhere around here. So this is the initial balance low, and Asia low, like I said, was somewhere around here. I'm not going to check to make sure. But what I was watching for is if it came down and like grabbed this liquidity from Asia low and had a super strong bounce and closed back within the range, that to me would have been a perfect failed auction setup. And that's one thing I was looking for. It obviously didn't happen. This is kind of where it was right here. We had a tiny little bounce, but it wasn't convincing. I'm talking about, like, you've probably seen a liquidity sweep before where if you zoom in on the 1 minute chart, it would look something more like this, where there's like a strong 1 minute candle buy up. If that happened over here with this Asia low, we had a super strong buy up and then closed back within the initial balance low, that I would have taken as a failed auction. So I would have entered somewhere wherever the liquidity sweep candle happened. If that was within the initial balance low, then or range, then I would have taken along there. It kind of depends on where it happens. And then I would have put my stop loss below that previous wick. So that's kind of my best setup, is if there's some sort of like support, if it's on the low side or if it's at the top of the initial balance high, there's some sort of resistance up there where it rejects and obviously closes back within the range. So my best setups are when you zoom out and have confluence on the higher time frame. Yeah, so I'll kind of zoom in on the 1 minute chart just to see like if there was that obvious bounce. And then I'll probably wait for like a 2 minute candle or 2 1 minute candles just to confirm. Because you can definitely get a fake breakout too. Or like a fake liquidity sweep bounce and then it rejects. Kind of like what happened on wherever it was here. I think it was this section right here where it kind of bounced off of that Asia low and then like played around a little bit, but it wasn't a convincing like buy up. So if you zoom in on the 1 minute chart and there's like a bullish engulfing 1 minute candle that just skyrockets, that's a pretty good sign and confirmed with volume. So if you look down here at the volume and that candle is just way up, that kind of gives you the sign that buyers are defending that spot, or sellers if it's at the top of the range. All right, we're getting a little bit of a bounce at this previous day low. feel like this could just be a little scalp pullback. I don't know if that's going to be the low of the day. Yeah, Shesniguez, this is a good example. So, like, if for example, let's say this yellow line was initial balance low, and this was some sort of like London low or Asia low or some sort of like liquidity sweep. If that was the bounce off of it and we started to close back with an initial balance low, yes, that would be something where I would take a long here, put my stop loss below there, and then target VWAP or something like that. Which we totally could have done on this. I'm not convinced that this is the low of the day. This kind of feels like a sell-off to me where people are just getting out of the market for tomorrow's news. But this could have been a good scalp back to VWAP or IB low or something like that. I kind of wasn't paying attention. That's all right though. I'm green. I don't want to give my profits back today. I hope someone took that long. That's a beautiful scalp right there. If I entered now, I'd be chasing. But dang. That was yesterday's low to the penny. Nice low bounce. It's just a matter of how much it bounces, because it kind of feels like we're going to keep going lower. That's just me though. This could be a good bounce though. It could come all the way back up to this area. VWAP and initial balance low. Could be a good spot to where it's bouncing. If anyone entered that trade that long, I think that's where I would target. Let's see, what would the risk to reward on that be if I entered now? Not bad. I'm going to do a small position. And I'll target for now 540. Oh, I'm on the 15-minute chart. Put my stop loss below that 5-minute candle. $486.25. Another confluence for this trade, obviously bouncing off of previous day low, was the big seller on the fact that it's going to bounce. But we're also regaining today's value area low. So it's trading back within today's value area. Today's point of control is up at 560, so we could possibly even come back to there. That's usually a magnet for price. Might be a little bit of a greedy target though. That would be a 73 point target. Yikes. Back above yesterday's point of control. Yeah, this is gonna be a good bounce. Slowing down a little bit. Kind of fighting with yesterday's value area high. All right, chat, who else is long? Anyone else get in on this trade? Hopefully you got a better entry than I did. It was one of those like no-brainer obvious trades. I kind of was just expecting a little scalp because I kind of get the feeling that we're going lower. I could be wrong. But this is a solid bounce. Shane Investment got long. Who else? Yeah, I got in late. Same here. Saw it and didn't like it. I admire your quality to be fearless by trading after a win. I don't know. I feel like it was still a good trade. It's not like, I don't feel like I'm taking the trade out of just greed and like wanting to make my account more green. It was just another opportunity that I saw. I did keep my size small though. You can see it's 3 contracts and my stop loss is 168. So even if I do lose, I would still be green for the day. Although I would not like to give profit back. But now that we're 20 points into profit and we're starting to kind of slow down at yesterday's value area high, I'll probably move to break even just so I can protect my risk. Let's go. I have my target at 540, which is right near initial balance low. 539 is what I have. And it could come a little bit higher. VWAP is right above that. And then point of control for today is at 561. So I feel like that's a fair target. Still going up. When I'm in a trade like this, I definitely like having it on the 5-minute chart because it makes it easier to see, like, oh, those are green candles, it's going up, green is good. On one of my other screens, I have the 1-minute chart on. It adds a little bit more anxiety. Like, uh-oh, it's red, is it pulling back? Oh no, it's green, that's a good green candle. So I wouldn't have to have as much anxiety and watch those red candles if I just zoom out to the 5-minute. That looks so much better, doesn't it? Chishamus, if you're in long, you're in ES, aren't you? Or are you taking an NQ trade? Which one are you in? I was gonna ask you what your target was, but if you're in ES, then your target wouldn't help me. Starting to slow down a little. Let's see if it makes it up to this initial balance low. Okay. You were targeting previous day VWAP. Thanks, hasn't it? You headed out? Have a good one. See you in a couple days, I guess, if you won't be here tomorrow. Have fun in your game or your match. All right, we're getting some selling here. Might not make it back up to that IB low. Looking at today's volume profile, we don't have a whole lot of like high volume nodes that are causing some resistance today up until point of control here at 561. And we've already made it past yesterday's volume area because we're above value area high from yesterday. So that's not really causing any resistance. I think there's a good chance that we continue back up to IB low. I think that would be my problem if I tried to trade too many different things. Having so many different screens, I would mess up like that too, Chichimus. You can't be mad if you're green though. Maybe you didn't get the full target you would have gone for, but you can't be mad about green. We got 30 seconds left. Are we gonna have our first red 5-minute candle? Or is this gonna jump up real quick and close green? I only have two screens. I'm just old. Oh, that's funny. That made me laugh. I haven't even looked at Bookmap. Do we have some good orders up at 540-ish where I'm thinking? Yeah, we have some liquidity stacking up higher that might be pulling us higher. 41 orders at 525, 61 at 530, 537, we have a bunch. 550. Yeah, we have a bunch at 550. 51 orders at 550, which is right up here in this VWAP area, my little red circle. Feeling pretty good that we'll make it up there. I don't like leaving unrealized profits on the table. Like, I would hate for this to sit through this and have it come down to $15. So part of me is wanting to like trail my stop loss up. But at the same time, I do feel like it's gonna hit my target and I want to give it a little bit of room to breathe. So that is my dilemma right now. That's what's going on in my head. What to do, what to do. All right, Chichamas, have a good one. Take care. Gonna let this trade play out and then call it a day after this. Go hang out with my kids. We only have a couple weeks left of summer break. It's nice and sunny and warm here, so we'll probably go swimming. Yeah, Shez Miguez, that's definitely something that I'm not solid on yet. I think it kind of depends on how confident I am in the trade. Like, this trade I feel pretty good about, but the fact that it's kind of stalling here, that makes me second guess it for sure. Like, maybe value area high should have been my target. Maybe I should have just gotten out there and now it's going to reject. Like, that starts going through my head when this choppiness happens, and that's when I start to trail my stop loss and then make $50 instead of $300. So that's probably actually a good reason to not trade this time of day anyway, because this is when it does start to get slow and choppy. And knowing that I don't handle the slow, choppy price action very well, and I start to like overmanage my positions, just knowing that, probably shouldn't trade it, right? I think it probably also helps too that this is my second trade of the day. I'm already green. My stop loss is in profit. So even if this does hit my stop loss, I'd be bummed because I could have made more. But it's not like it's going to make me lose money. So that probably helps me not want to trail my stop loss too. So I guess it depends on the trade. There's some traders though that have a specific system to their trailing. Like they always keep their stop loss within a certain amount of points or whatever. That way they can take the emotion out of it. I haven't figured all that out yet, I guess. So looking at yesterday's levels, we are kind of hovering below yesterday's value area high. Zooming out a little bit. This kind of choppiness, I guess, is what we're fighting through right now. If you pay attention to fair value gaps though, at least on the 15-minute chart, we came down and retested that fair value gap and we're bouncing out of it. So let's see if we can close back above yesterday's value area high. Well, I think that stopped me out. Yep. And now it's probably gonna reverse and go hit my target. That's all right though. I'm good. I'm gonna finish up in this account, probably call it a day. As always, I typically set alerts just so that I don't feel like I'm missing out on a trade, and if something alerts me, then I can possibly come take another trade. I am gonna set one here at initial balance low. Because that's kind of right in line with VWAP too. So if it comes back up to this area, possibly could take a short from there or see how it reacts, and if it closes back within the range, and we're going long. Hey Paul, how's it going? Cool. I'm gonna call it there, you guys. If you guys keep trading, trade safe. Otherwise, I'll see ya tomorrow. We have some news coming up the rest of the week, even more. So we'll trade it together.